Yo guys, Haku here with my review of the One Piece anime episode 740. I think this one was 740. But I really did not hear very positive things going into this episode. I honestly did not. And I knew what this was going to be about, and I am definitely not the biggest fan of the Rebecca and Kiro storyline. I don't hate Rebecca as much as many people do, but she is a pretty bland and annoying at times character. And Kyros, I really like Kyros, but their storyline is just not very good. But honestly, I was pleasantly surprised by the episode. I honestly liked it for what it was. Was it an amazing episode, some great anime thing? No, of course not. But I like when I was first watching One Piece and going through it, I liked those episodes here and there that were just sort of like everybody was hanging out on the ship, just talking, getting some character development and connection building. I liked that, and this felt a little bit like that. It didn't feel like some of the bad episodes. It didn't feel terribly paced or drawn out. None of the scenes were really particularly slow. It's just that they didn't progress a ton, and a lot of important stuff did happen, just like in a building sort of way. We get hints at stuff that's coming in the future episodes, in the next few really. The downside about this whole storyline though is that knowing what happens in the manga, a lot of this Kyros and Rebecca stuff and a lot of the stuff with the Marines is near pointless. There is a point to it, and there is some stuff that happens, but a lot of it doesn't really lead much of anywhere. So I can see the complaints. I can definitely see the complaints. But I personally liked this one. I thought that the animation was not very bad. It was pretty alright throughout. Nothing like last episode, of course, but it wasn't as bad as a lot of the Luffy and Doflamingo episodes were animated, where it was just still frames everywhere and choppy. There were a couple frames here and there, like Rebecca in the mirror, where they just looked like, what the hell were they thinking? But overall, it wasn't that bad or anything. This was overall, I think, an above average episode for One Piece. Not much happened, but it's not like nothing happened. Like some episodes, nothing happens, and I'm just glad that this did a little bit more than that. So we start with the Kyros and Rebecca flashback, which was nice, and they had a few of them sprinkled throughout the episode. Kind of fillery, but I think it built a nice atmosphere, so I didn't mind it so much. Then we have Suru, her crew, and Sengoku all arriving at Dressrosa, of course. And that was cool. Mancherry showing up was cool as well. Sengoku is just really funny. I really like Sengoku. Mancherry I'm not a big fan of, but she showed up. She was asking for blood donations from the Navy to help make her healing flowers. So we then get to see Viola back at the palace. We get to see Gyatso making the announcement that King Riku is returning to the throne. And we get to see Riku and Elisabello, who I really like. Riku, maybe not so much, but I really love Elisabello. He's just a really entertaining character to me. And they had a nice conversation about being a king, I guess, and just the struggles of it, things like that, wanting to protect your citizens. It was a bit brief. And one thing is when Riku says that, one day Rebecca will take over for me, and they're making the big deal about Rebecca, I was like, well, fuck Viola, I guess. I mean, it's like she's your daughter, Rebecca's your granddaughter, isn't she the next in line for the throne? But nah, he's just like, fuck Viola, Rebecca's the next queen. It's like, shit, Riku, way to show who your favorite was. Scarlet's daughter even gets the love over Viola. I kind of get where Riku's coming from though, because Viola to me has always been very, very bland and boring, and I thought you could have the entire Dressrosa arc without Viola, and I personally don't think that anything would have been that different. They could have had other characters do the very little that Viola did. I didn't like her very much. Her only neat kind of stuff was with Sanji, and even then, Sanji would have been perfectly fine in this arc without her. So I'm not a huge Viola fan. I probably like Viola less than Rebecca, and that's saying something for most fans. So there was this one scene where Rebecca like grabs her dress or whatever, and I could swear to you, that was reused animation. That to me looks exactly like the animation when Hancock was thinking about when she was a slave and she starts crying and the tears drop on her arm. That animation looked the exact same except colored differently to be Rebecca grabbing her dress. Like legit, that looks like the same exact animation. So the samurai here, while they're out shopping, they hear the rumor that Kiros is not Rebecca's father. That we find out later on Kiros spread the rumor himself, but you could probably tell as soon as you heard it, it was maybe that sort of deal. Because of the way Kiros was acting and because of the letter and stuff, you could maybe guess at that it was just him trying to protect her, which I think is interesting. Don't totally agree with it, but also can see what he was doing, see the good intentions in it. From there we get to see the Navy as well handing out the healing flowers from Mancherry, and Sengoku giving his blood was a very, very funny scene. I liked the scene despite not liking this chapter very much in the manga, so I liked the way the anime did it. It was pretty nice. So Suru and Fujitora roll the dice to see if they will be going after the Straw Hats. We cut to Kiros' house. We see everybody there, including Bellamy, which is interesting to note. Of course, we see Luffy awake now. We had a really funny moment, I thought, with Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp looking at each other intently. I thought that was really, really funny. And then Leo calls and Bartolomeo shows up to all warn them that the Navy is making its move and that the dice roll had been a 6 instead of the 1 that would have saved them. So now the Navy is going after Luffy, Law, their allies, and all the sort of friends, allies that they made in the Colosseum. And that's where we end. I can honestly say that the animation wasn't bad. The music was pretty good too. The pacing wasn't horrible, but it's a slow part of the story. I think for a slow part of the story, the pacing was pretty damn good, actually, because we've had some parts of the story where the pacing's been terrible, even when the part of the story wasn't particularly slow. So I don't think this was bad at all, really. It just wasn't amazing or anything. I don't really have anything to really fault it for, but not much to really praise it for either. It's sort of in that area, but like I said, because things did happen and the quality wasn't terrible, I can say that it was a little above average. Not much above average, but a little above average for me. So liking it for what it is, I'm going to give it 7 Summer Sparrows out of 10, because it was pretty good. And I will say the next few episodes, if you didn't like this one, which is completely understandable, if you didn't like this one, the next few episodes are probably going to be really, like, hopefully the next 2 episodes will be really slow and not the next 3, but I do think the next 2 will be pretty damn slow. If it's like this one, it won't be that bad to sit through, though, because this one took a slow part of the manga and made it not so bad. The next 2 will be a slow part of the manga, but hopefully the anime will make it not so bad with some decent in-canon filler. Then after that, we will be getting to some damn good stuff for a good long time, I feel. Unless we get a filler arc, which I'm not totally completely against. But in the manga, for those of you that don't read, I won't spoil anything, but we have already had another arc after Dressrosa and have moved on to the arc after that. So we have a good full arc between Dressrosa ending, which we're still maybe a month away from, or a good few weeks. We're a good bit away from that, and then we have a whole nother arc before we would even catch up to the manga. So I think we're at a pretty good place. We don't exactly need a filler arc, but if they have one, I don't really think I'm going to complain as long as it's not terrible. So that's it for this one. I droned on a little bit too long, I think, but I just wanted to be sure to discuss stuff as in detail as I felt was necessary with you guys. So thank you for watching, sincerely. Like if you liked the video. Comment down there and tell me what you thought of the episode. I can definitely see where you would disagree. I can totally see not liking this, but I did like it. It's just one of those things. So if you disagree, just tell me about it and tell me why. I'm totally cool with that. Just tell me what you thought of it so we can discuss it, and tell me what you thought of my thoughts as well. Subscribe if you want to as well for One Piece, Tower of God, The Walking Dead, Keys Not Ever, and a bunch more. And follow on Twitter if you want for updates. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And that's it. I said that like twice now. So I'll see you all next time.